Welcome, Mr. and Mrs. Helfgott. Um, I usually look at this first meeting as an introduction. This means I'll be asking you some questions to get an understanding of what brought you here, who you are, what goals you have, and where you want to be. We might jump around a little bit, and I might take some notes with your permission. This session will give you each a chance to see if we like working together and to discuss any help you think you might like. Um, I'm a student clinician here and a candidate for an MSW, that's a Master's in Social Work. Although I'm not licensed yet, I have specialized training, education, and experience that has prepared me to be an effective therapist. I need to discuss confidentiality with you at this point. It's an essential part of any clinical relationship. All aspects of your participation in services at this agency, including the scheduling of appointments, content of counseling sessions, and any records that we keep, um, they're confidential as outlined by federal and state law. Our consent form and notice of privacy practices, which you have now with you, both provide more detail about how we handle your confidential information. Communication between us may only be disclosed when you sign a consent form and or release for information, um, for, uh, for authorization of disclosure. Um, in cases of immediate danger of serious harm to you or someone else, or other infrequent circumstances, as described in limits of confidentiality, which I'll talk more about briefly soon. Um, our record security is maintained and cannot be accessed by any non-agency staff without your signed authorization. We operate here within professional ethical guidelines and applicable federal and state laws which protect the privacy of your mental health records. Um, Again, there's more information in the packet that you have in hand. In most cases, your written and signed authorization is required before information concerning your care can be disclosed to individuals outside of the agency, including family, friends, coworkers, and others. Below are some of the limits of confidentiality. These are cases in which the law dictates that your signed authorization may not be required to release information. If I or a staff member believes you are likely to harm yourself or another person, he or she may take action necessary to protect you or others by contacting law enforcement officers or a physician. Also, if a clinician has cause to believe a child or elderly person uh, may have been abused or will be abused, the clinician is required to report that to appropriate state agencies. Information disclosed about a person from whom you sought counseling behavior acted towards you in a sexually inappropriate manner, that has to be reported. Your identity may remain anonymous at your request in that case. If your records are requested by a valid subpoena or court order, we have to respond to that as well. I hope you understand. Please tell me if you have questions about any of that information. I just want to say that before you leave today, we'll take the information you've given me and together we'll come up with a set of recommendations, what we call a treatment plan that seems realistic to you. Since we'll work together as a team, I'll give you recommendations you might want to try on your own, like practicing communication skills or reading portions of a helpful book. These suggestions will be based on the issues you've shared with me. I just want to thank you for taking the time to share your thoughts with me. I think it takes strength and courage to come to therapy, and I appreciate you disclosing information about yourself. I'm going to ask that you keep your appointments in order to benefit from visits, especially early on. I think it's essential that we build some momentum and a strong interaction to benefit you and your goals. I hope all that sounds good to you. Please let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.
I'd love to know what brought you here. You can talk about that in whatever way you see as appropriate. And also wondering what you want to take from this session or from our therapy in general.
The matter, well, it started out, but explain. It's all
minor movements.
So that's the story. What do you do? Inexpressible, inexplicably inexpressible.
So you're saying there's something you can't express about life. I think that takes some bravery, and I appreciate you sharing that. Mr. Helfgott, would you be able to tell me a little bit about your worldview, what you think makes life worth living, the meaning you take from it?
Just not long enough. It's not long enough to talk negative. That is their positive, because you should always reaffirm to the American person. So you're after 20 years, let me be alive, oh.
You're saying you feel very fortunate to be alive, and you try to think positively. I think that's something that comes from experience, and those are valuable lessons. Can you say more?
The point is, life's not all that well. It's not just simple. I mean, it goes on, and you just have to keep on going too, don't you? I mean, you can't give up.
Certainly not. Every time that blooming Saturn comes along, it gives us a bit of a jolt.
Oh, it's the stars, Gillian.
Everything is a season.
Oh, it's a mystery. It's a mystery.
Yes, also is it?
Oh, we just need to seize the reason for the season.
So you've found that perseverance works for you, although life can be very mysterious. I think those are wonderful conclusions to arrive at. Thank you for sharing.
Would you mind talking a bit about your experience at the Royal College of Music in London?
I'm trying to remember. They say I've got a brilliant memory. Everyone says I've got a brilliant memory, and that I will, and I can. I can,
you
and I
could
will.
remember those periods if you wanted to, David.
I could remember if I wanted to, but perhaps I've can you be born with amnesia or something? Father said I was just born that way.
No, you've got a pretty good memory, David, but it's those years in institutions aren't things that he likes to dwell on.
Mr. and Mrs. Helfgott, I just want to say it was very nice to meet you today. Thank you so much for sharing all you've shared. I think our best treatment plan would include you coming back here maybe in 2 weeks to discuss your thoughts on this meeting, your thoughts on progress, and where we go from here. I'd recommend a specialist in life skills with a cognitive behavioral approach. That's something I can get back to you about in between sessions, and I'll make contact, and we can talk about that during our next session. But thank you so much. It was very nice to meet you, and I very much appreciate our time together.